All right. There we go. Everything should be up and running. Hopefully it is working. Say hi to me in the comments if you can actually see me, hear me, all that kind of jazz. I'm just waiting to see if anybody speaks, because I tested this on private mode the other day, and it worked just fine. And then it went kaplooey on me just now with the exact same settings, so I was like, I don't know what's happening. Hey guys, alright. Can see, hey, good, well that's a start. Can you hear me though? Yes, can you hear me? That's the big thing, because the audio was going all sorts of wackadoodle on me for some bizarre reason. You know, it's one of those things with like computers. Everything seems to be okay. Okay, cool, I can hear you. Excellent. It's one of those things like you think everything's fine and you test it one thing and you're like, cool, everything's awesome. And then you actually come to the day of and you plug it in and you're like, everything goes to crap because nothing works the way it's supposed to. So anyway, here we are. All right, cool, good, all good, everything. Nice. Very good. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few things tonight. Obviously, there was the big Kadokawa announcement earlier, which I got like a little bit more information about, and also just some sort of thoughts to consider here. So right now, I don't really know what the hell this means. I mean, clearly Kadokawa are going to be releasing manga and light novels through Bookwalker. But right now, like, if you take a look at the manga, you can buy the individual chapters, and it's something like, I mean, it's probably in Canadian dollars, but it's like $1.20 or $1.30. And I mean, that's not unreasonable, I guess, because you figure if there's, say, 15, well, not always, I don't know, how many are manga nowadays? Like 10? Around 10 chapters? 15 chapters? So I guess that would work out to being about 10, 12 bucks a manga, which is about average, at least for print, but that's a little pricey for digital. Anyway, so I don't know whether they're going to be doing it like that you have to buy the chapters individually, or whether they'll eventually roll out some kind of membership thing like J-Novel has and a bunch of other like comic companies have, where you can get subscriptions, where you get the simulpubs. I mean, that would make a lot more sense to me. Now, I kind of think like overall that it's not going to change as much. Like when I first read that news press release, I was like, holy crap, this is changing so much. Like, this is like crazy. But then when I really stopped to think about it, I was like, well, I mean, what does it really change? I mean, they're going to go direct. Well, I mean, technically, even when they publish through Yen On, or, well, now J-Novel Club, it's still direct because they own those companies. Like, it's not like those people are middlemen anymore. And like, it's kind of strange, but I think the main thing that you're seeing with what Kadokawa is doing is the exact same reason that J-Novel Club has done what they've done. And that's that with J-Novel Club, when you're a digital primary first, see, in the English market, and this is, I think, considerably different even from how it is in Japan, but in the English market, you basically are obligated that you have to provide 6 months at the minimum just to even announce that the book is coming out, because you have to allow time for like buyers, distributors, and everything else. Like, there's so much sort of like bureaucracy and archaic aspects of the publishing industry that it literally, you cannot put out a print book for at least, anywhere between 6 months to a year. And of course, when you're also a print primary business, you're also trying to balance your calendar out, right? So you're not releasing everything in one month and then having a dead empty month the next month and everything else. So there's all these other limitations that cause delays in releasing print. But J-Novel Club, when they came out, didn't have to do any of that because they were digital only. So they didn't have to put out books with this major leeway time. But even if you look at J-Novel's print releases, the print releases are always at least 6 months or longer behind the digital release. So I kind of think like with this whole Kadokawa thing and them saying that they're going direct, I kind of think that it is going to just mean that they're basically saying we're doing digital first, and if things do well on Bookwalker, they'll probably use like Yen On because they have that distribution already built into the business. They'll use them to send out the print books. And they won't feel that need to hurry up with the print books because, of course, the digital will already exist. So the other thing that I'm really not sure about this yet is exactly what retailers they're going to make this stuff available on. Like, is it going to be only on Bookwalker? Somebody said that they already saw some on Google Play, but they didn't see them on some other ones. I didn't research that. I don't know whether it's going to be that they'll sell the chapters on Bookwalker first and then sell the completed books on a wider platform. There's so many things not answered. And again, this is all just even based on the manga. We don't even know what they're going to actually do with the light novels. They said that they were going to release the chapters, but what the hell does that even mean? I don't know. There's a website, the OASG, they actually got a little bit more information from one of the representatives of Kadokawa, Satoru Miki. If you watched the Anime Man's video, then you would know who that is. And basically, what they're saying is, and this I found kind of interesting, they were saying that they have been planning this for about a year, which I kind of find interesting, especially since they purchased J-Novel Club in April. I kind of wonder if that was the part of that planning before all this was partly to get that whole setup. Like, you know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. So they say they've been doing this for a year, which I feel is kind of interesting. They do mention that the increased acceptance of ebooks, both in Japan and abroad, was part of the reason that they thought now was kind of a good time to do this. They're saying like that even though all of these launch titles are primarily fantasy, that they do intend to do other genres. Another thing that I thought was really kind of cool about this, though, is that they aren't talking about age. They're only worried about demand. So even if a series is older, if they think that the demand is high enough, they're still going to pick it up. They'll still potentially release it, which is kind of cool. And they're stating that they figure that to get themselves up to that like 100 titles, that it's going to take about 3 years to get to that point. Now, we don't know how much of that is manga, how much of that is light novels. I mean, if you figure they've announced 7 manga and today 3 light novels, that's almost a 50% split. Like you almost have 50% the number of light novels as they do manga. I don't know if that'll stay that way. One of the things that's interesting too is that they were saying that they actually see more. So they said, will the focus be on simulpubbing more manga than translated chapter releases of light novels? This I found really interesting. The simulpub of manga and chapter release of light novels are both equally important. Regarding manga, there is so much piracy in English, some of which is uploaded just after the serialization in Japan. It suggests that there is business potential, but at the same time it's so tough to monetize because our competitor is piracy, which is free. On the other hand, there's little piracy for light novels. The reason, I guess, is that it needs much more effort to translate. In that sense, I think there's some monetization opportunity because there's very few competitors. So, like, to me, it makes it sound like they realize that, I think, like, the idea that they kind of have is that if we put out the manga fast, simulpub it, we probably won't make as much money because we're competing with pirates, but if we get it out fast, we still have more potential for making money because we're running neck and neck with the pirates instead of being months behind them. On the other hand, though, with light novels, I think they're kind of seeing exactly the thing that J-Novel Club has proven, which is if you get this stuff out the door fast enough, you're way ahead of piracy, and it really has a pretty low rate at that point because there's not much point in doing it. So I kind of think that to me is kind of interesting. I kind of think that, like, you know, we could, I wonder if we're going to see maybe a little bit more investment on the light novel side because of that. However, of course, light novels take more time, as they state. It's more money, more effort to translate. So I don't think we'll ever see, like, light novels released at the same volume as manga. And I mean, that's maybe not such a bad thing considering they take a lot longer to read. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Again, I kind of think that we have to remember that when, like, you see a lot of people talking about cutting out middlemen and stuff. But like I said, J-Novel Club and Yen belong to Kadokawa, and Yen has belonged to Kadokawa for a long time, for years. I know J-Novel Club's a more recent acquisition, but Yen's been years. So it's not like they're using a middleman, really, like they own the company. But I kind of think that this is much more of a way of copying J-Novel Club's success but putting it into their own platform. And I mean, in some ways, I kind of wish they would just use JNC's platform because I mean, I've seen so many people talking about Bookwalker and how Bookwalker has very, very punitive DRM, and I don't think you're going to see any of that change. I'm pretty sure you're going to see, if anything, the DRM on this stuff is going to be just as airtight, if not worse. So, and also you're so limited. Even if you buy the actual complete novel or manga, you're pretty much limited to only reading it on their app, which I think is a little bit of a, like, I find that a little problematic. You know, I would rather be able to buy something on, say, Kobo and then be able to download it and put it on a variety of e-readers or phones or whatever, and not always have to rely on just the Kobo app. That's kind of, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It just seems to me that this is going to be, like, I think it'll be good in the long run for fans to get stuff faster, to get stuff better. That's great. That's good. So you're all going to see me disappear for a minute. I don't know why. I don't know. Does that do it? Maybe that does it. So yeah, so now you're going to all watch as everything goes weird for a second. Yep, there you go. There you go. There you go. It's back now. I think this is okay. Sorry about that. No, the battery didn't die. There's lots of battery. I think, see, this is the thing, like, YouTube tutorials do not tell you everything. See, I've got this connected the way I've got this connected, it's not like the camera is quote unquote live. I think I actually had to hit the record button to do it, which is why it cut out, but I don't know anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's fine now. Hopefully it's fine. It looks stable on screen, so we'll call it all good. We'll see. I mean, yeah, we'll see how it goes anyway. Okay. Now, I was going to say, I did see somebody mentioned how there were some concerns that they're using, Medibang for the translations. I mean, at least I mean, the upside of that is that at least it means that it's human beings translating this. It's not like it's being machine translated, which one person I saw on Twitter actually pointed out that Kadokawa in one of their more recent, in their most recent financial statements said that they were actually looking at machine translation in order to get this stuff done faster. So, yeah, there's that. However, I mean, I know Medibang has a lot of detractors because apparently it pays like crap compared to the rest of the industry. I don't know enough to make a comment on that. But, I mean, the one thing that I worry about, like, here's my thing, like, I kind of thought, like, if you've got the resources of, like, Yen on your side, and J-Novel Club, I mean, you've got a body of translators. Like, I kind of wonder why there wasn't some of that. Like, it sort of seems to me like Kadokawa wants to do this, but they're kind of wanting to do it, like, I don't want to call them lazy, but do you know what I mean? Like, oh, let's just find a company who will do all the translating for us. But I'm kind of like, well, you've got J-Novel Club and Yen. I'm pretty sure if you sourced it to them and said, hey guys, we need this stuff translated, you would be able to do it. I don't know. I'm really not too sure, but we'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, you're right, Hutch. Like, that is right. Like, I think, having titles that are more obscure, I think that when it's being done directly, there's more of a chance that they will take an opportunity with something like this, as opposed to a company like J-Novel Club, Yen, 7Seas, and those companies taking the risk with it. I do kind of think that is a good point. Like, a company that already owns the publication rights, probably it's less of a risk for them. And let's face it, the other thing too, and this is going to maybe sound really shitty, but the other thing too is that, see, with J-Novel Club and Yen, like these North American companies, when they license something, they're locked into it, basically, because if they lose face, like they drop the title, that means they're less dependable and less reliable, which means companies are less likely to license to them. So they're pretty much screwed if they lock into something that loses money. Kadokawa is licensing from themselves, so they can do whatever the hell they want, and if it flops, what do they give a shit? They can just stop printing it. I mean, it's not like they're going to stop doing business with themselves. Anyway, yeah, I mean, like, who knows? I find part of me, like, honestly, mostly I'm not even that hyped about this from any kind of a fan point of view. I just find this interesting. I just find the change in the market interesting. I just find the transitioning and the growth and how the market's going. Like, we had Vertical Books and now it's Kodansha. Square Enix used to license their manga, and now we have Square Enix books in North America. Kadokawa was using companies like Yen and J-Novel Club and others to publish their stuff. Now they're coming out on their own. I mean, how long until Yen On doesn't exist anymore and Yen Press doesn't exist anymore and it's just Kadokawa Books? Like, I think that's, I don't know, like, I'll be interested to see. So, we'll see. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, I find the business side of it interesting. Funny enough, like, okay, we'll get kind of out of the serious business talk. I mean, I've been watching a lot of Korean TV series lately, because they're awesome. And there was this one series that I just watched, which is Love is a Bonus Book, and it was all about this publishing industry, and well, I mean, okay, it was more about the personal relationships, but like the whole idea was that all these people worked in this publishing company, and man, it just got me so interested. Like I love books, obviously. I've loved books, like I'm not even talking light novels, manga, I'm talking like books. I've loved books for as long as I can remember, and, you know, writing and everything else. And man, I watched that show and I was like, man, I want to work in publishing so bad. So maybe that's part of the reason why I'm totally into this. I'm like, I'm just so curious about the publishing industry and how it works and the background of it all. Like, I am just so interested in that aspect of it that, like I said, I mean, I'm just curious to see how this all plays out. You know, like, what happens with the Yen On. Like, obviously Yen, my feeling is Yen On and J Novel Club and Seven Seas, anyone who's got Kadokawa titles, they will continue with those Kadokawa titles. The question that I kind of wonder, though, is how many will Kadokawa now license out going forward? And again, that's kind of, to me, an interesting business aspect. Like, will they see, it's balancing out that benefit, right? Like, why, you know, if we don't have to put the money or effort into translating, printing, publishing this because some other company wants to do it, well, maybe we'll just let them do it. Like, I mean, from that point of view, you could almost say that Kadokawa at this point is just like doing this because they want to put out titles that no other company in North America is interested in taking on. Which actually kind of makes this sound pretty bad overall. But I don't know if that's really true or not. But anyway, as I said, I find this interesting. That's my take. I just find it very kind of cool to me. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. I mean, it'll be interesting at the very least. If anything, I'm just curious to see what titles Kadokawa hangs on to compared to the ones that they license out. Because to me, like, I'm just very curious to see what they decide they think is going to work best for the English market. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I find all that stuff interesting. Like I said, I find the business side of things kind of interesting to me. So, while I've got you guys here, I gotta show you this because some of you will know what this is, and then others will be like, "What the hell?" And the thing is like where I'm watching this, it's delayed, so hopefully you can see it. This is Henrietta, who's a magic chicken. Mage chicken. So I had posted this on Discord some time ago, and we went on for a long time about coming up with some kind of backstory for this thing. And, you know, anyway, CL ordered it for me because I just think it's really friggin' cool, man. It's like a mage chicken, a wizard chicken. I'm like so into it. I just gotta find a good place, like where to put it. Supposedly, I understand that it's artwork from like a RPG or something like that, like some kind of tabletop RPG. I've got to find a good place to put the magic chicken. Yes, mage chicken. You know Full Metal. You know what I'm talking about. I love that mage chicken. I came up with like Like I think all of us all collectively had like maybe 3 or 4 different novels already started based on the backstory we were building on this chicken. So, yeah, I was a hero and then reborn as a chicken. Oh, man. Oh, well, anyway. Yeah, so... Yeah, okay, Blood. You're talking right now, right? You're like, so they said they were starting with titles that are highly regarded, and yet I think I've heard of one of them. So I was kind of like, I don't really know. That's what I mean, kind of, when I'm saying I'm very curious to see what they think is in high demand in English. Yeah, so anyway. No, I'm like covered in my dog's hair. If you guys don't know, like, I posted this like video about eating 20 plus flavors of KitKat. And right at the end of the video, you can see my Great Pyrenees climb up on the sofa behind me. Beautiful dog, although she is super headstrong. Oh my God, she's so stubborn. And like such a standoffish, but anyway, she's absolutely adorable. But my God, she sheds like crazy. So if you ever see all sorts of strands of white hair on me, that's what that's all about. Anyway, yes, the ancient samurai chicken reincarnated. You're right, Geist. That's what we were talking about. Oh man. Anyway, so a few other things. I've got so. I know a few people have asked me about the Discord. So the Discord has been deleted. The Discord server's been deleted. I'm not going to say a lot about it. I just, really just want to put it out there that it wasn't like people got banned. That was like, I think the worst part about it is that there was sort of this, I got a message from a few people and they were like, did I get kicked? Did I do something wrong? And kind of felt bad about that because obviously they didn't, and I didn't want them to think that. Yeah, the Discord. I mean, I don't want to get too much into what the Discord. I've been going through some stuff, like some mental health issues, and let's say sometimes things happen. That sounds terrible, God. And I'm saying this live, so it's not a goddamn thing I can do to actually edit it out. But but anyway, I don't really want to get too much into the Discord server. It was just one of those things that kind of heat of the moment happened, and I kind of realized that it's probably not something that I'm going to restart myself. I know there's a few people that have restarted like a light novel Discord and are trying to keep it kind of the same vibe, which I really appreciate, and I'm glad that, because, there were a few people that were in there and, good people and I think, that liked the space. So yeah. Anyway, I'm glad that there's still a home for them, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be starting my own server anytime again. Maybe I'll pop in as a guest here and there at places, but yeah. Anyway, I just, like I said, I just didn't want people to think that like they were kicked, or wondering why like they got booted when they didn't do anything wrong. Because so that's nobody was kicked for that. The server was deleted. Anyway, that's that. Anyway, let's move on. Something that I'm going to be starting though. Thanks guys. I do appreciate it. I really do. One of the things that I'm going to be doing, and I've the members, the YouTube my YouTube members know about this, and I'll let you guys know about it here, is that I'm going to do some more live streaming. So, I mean, now that it actually kind of looks okay, at least, you know, on my small little blip of my screen here. Anyway, now that I kind of have it figured out and know what the hell I'm doing, so what I'm going to do is I'm hoping to make it at least, like I was thinking weekly, it might be every like week and a half. You know, I do still have a full-time job. You know, sometimes I kind of have to remind people, like, I don't do this full-time. I don't make enough money to do this full-time. And honestly, like, I'd have to focus on a lot of other stuff, because light novels are still pretty niche enough that, like, this light novel channel's never going to get big enough for it to pay me a full-time wage. But anyway, one of the things is, like, obviously, my reading time, I don't have a lot of it. So what I was kind of trying to think of was ways that I could still, like, bring some awareness to different series, and we could have maybe a little discussion about it, but it wouldn't be something like I would have to try and read the book. Because, I mean, right now, I'm maybe reading a book every week and a half, 2 weeks. And then, you know, I've got to try and find time to shoot the video, edit the video, and yeah. So anyway, what I'm going to start doing is like live readings, live reactions. So for all the light novel series put out by the major publishers, I'm probably going to use the Kobo site because it seems to have the most, like, the longest previews available. So basically, going to do live stream like this, and I'm going to live read the available preview of the light novel here, like during a live stream, and going to ask for your feedback, going to ask for your thoughts on it. I'm going to live react as I'm reading it. And so far, I've gotten blessings from J Novel Club, Yen On, and also from Cross Infinite World. So I've heard directly from all three of them. They're on board. They're cool if I do it. I'm not going to have anybody coming after me copyright-wise. But I do have to stick to just the preview. I can't, like, I'm not going to be like a VTuber sitting here for 4 hours reading like half the book or whatever. Not allowed to do that. But it's just you know, I just kind of thought, like, for something like a quick half hour, live stream, just to sit down, read a little bit, say, you know, my 2 cents about what I've read, what I think. You know, maybe if there's people in the live stream who have read it, they can give sort of their idea, their feedback. I just kind of thought it'd be sort of a fun thing to do, right? It's just, and it's easy, and it's something that I can just sit down and, like I said, now that I kind of have an idea how to make this crap work, then it would be something that I could just do when I've got half an hour to sit down and do. And it's still giving some light novel content. It's still giving a way that people can get sort of a better idea of what a light novel is about. You know, how the opening at least compares, and, you know, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's how that's going. So basically what I'm doing is I'm giving a list of a couple of titles to my YouTube members and letting them vote. So right now, the first 2 is either going to be Fushi no Kami or Reincarnated as the Piggy Duke. They're currently tied. So no, Terrence, I am not live reading A Sister's All You Need again. Oh my God. That will always be a mistake. That will never, no. Actually, Hutch, you know what? What is really funny? I haven't asked Tentai Books yet. Which, you know, it's kind of stupid because I guess it's because since we had Alex on the podcast, he and I have, like, DM'd each other on Discord. So it wasn't the same as, like, you know, sending a formal email like I did to everybody else saying, may I have your permission to do this? So yeah. I thought that was, so yeah, I keep saying like, oh shit, I should ask Alex if he's okay if I read some of the Tentai stuff like that. And, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. Oh my God, this is REF. Good Lord, no. That is one mistake that I will never repeat. Oh shit. Oh man. Yeah, no. We're not gonna read that one. Oh my Lord. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so that's something that I'm gonna be doing. Also for the top 10, the weekly top 10, going to streamline it a little bit. It's getting like, it's kind of getting a little out of hand when it's a 30-minute long video. So I think what I'm going to do with that is I'm not going to talk as much about them or read the synopses of all the books. I'll probably just read the ones for books that are like Japanese titles that we don't have in English, just because people will have no idea what they are. And then the ones that we have in English, I'll just link to like EnglishLightNovels.com if people want to learn more about it. And just try and get those videos cut down to like a more manageable, like, 8-9 minutes. Because viewership's really down on those. And I kind of think it's partly because they're so damn long. I think people kind of look at it and they're like, I'm not watching a 30-minute, 10 top 10 video. That's dumb. So we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, guys. Yeah. Yes, yeah. How can you tell somebody who knows the Light Novel podcast has been a long time listener of that one? They'll know exactly what that is. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really am trying to find ways to deliver decent content, but do it in a way that's more manageable, especially with my schedule. Especially like trying to still be, not a complete washout of like a husband and father, like trying to, still make time for my family too. Like this is something that I started and I've been spending a lot of time on, but it's not something that should possess my whole life. Like, and for a while there, it really did. Which I think is part of the, kind of thing. I also, do I just read new volume 1s and 2 novels and not continue series? Yeah, that's it, Rare. I do. I basically, for a long time, have focused primarily on just the first volume. I think I've only got one more book to read and I'll have finished the Monogatari series, and I think that's the only series I can say I've finished. Mainly because for a very long time, the focus of the channel, in my mind, was to primarily try and get as many titles covered as possible so people at least had an idea of what the series was like. So that, sort of the mission statement of the channel for a long time was helping people find light novels to love. And I figured the best way to do that was to have as many light novel series sampled as possible. And also, this will sound probably bad, but the truth is, from a YouTube point of view, volume 1s get way more views than subsequent volumes. Generally, not always. Overlord, those videos, I'll probably go back to Overlord anyway because I liked it, but Overlord, like those videos, tons of views regardless of the volume. But most series, it's like you put out volume 1 review, it gets so many views. Volume 2 gets maybe 2/3 the number of views, and it just keeps going down from there. That said, with this doing sort of live streams and just kind of highlighting different series that I haven't read, I kind of am looking at that as an opportunity to sit down and just maybe read some more volumes of ongoing series that I've enjoyed that I want to get back to. Like Overlord for one, Torture Princess. I'd like to read some more. I've got some more 86. I've only got like 3 volumes, I think, of World End that I need to finish, and they're not even that long. Reign of the Seven Spellbleeds. Blah, 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 blah. So Reign of the Seven Spellblades, that's definitely a series that I'd like to keep up with. Maybe The Executioner and Her Way of Life. Those are kind of the things that I'm thinking, like, that sort of, I'm kind of thinking my full reviews are going to be essentially series that I really like or I'm super interested in, including ongoing volumes, and that for the most part, for other series, I'm going to try and focus more on just doing the sort of the little live streams and stuff and first review, like first sort of impressions kind of thing. Because, I mean, I'll be honest, like, a lot of light novels get kind of boring because when you're reading, I can't remember who said it. Somebody had said it on the Discord maybe, but previously, but maybe it was Geist. Maybe it was you, Geist, that said this, or it was Hutch. I think it was one or the other. Anyway, but said, like, a lot of volume ones are very generic. They have a lot of the same tropes. They have a lot of the same stuff. And there's a lot of times where you can kind of feel like the author's really not hit their stride. And it isn't until you get into the later volumes where the series actually gets interesting, or you can really sort of see whether the author's got an idea of what the hell they're doing. And so I think I'm kind of a little burned out on reading the volume ones and just trying to like read a bunch of those because after a while, yeah, there's a lot of sameness to them. And I mean, that's also just because a lot of the light novels we have had licensed in English are very similar. That's kind of the thing, right? I kind of want to spend more time reading series that I know are good, are well written, that I enjoy, that avoid, trashy tropes that I'm not a huge fan of. That's kind of where I'm at. So we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. I am going to be doing some more manga reviews, checking stuff out with Manga, because that's, to me, very, is a lot of fun. Like I said in that one manga review, as I said in that one manga review, I want to get back to manga. That is sort of the one thing, like, because manga is a more mature market than light novels, and because manga, I think, again, like light novels involve so much time and commitment. Eminence and Shadow. Yeah, I've got the third one. I'll be reading that one. What I think, okay, I've lost my train of thought. Okay, manga. I think the thing is that manga are less risky for companies to license. So, and because manga has been around as a predominant part of that business model for a lot longer than light novels, we have a lot more selection and variety in light novels than we do in manga than we do in light novels. Light novels, a lot of companies have played it very safe with what they've licensed. They've found niches like, yes, I saw somebody wrote Isekai Trash, Roman. But I mean, it sells, right? Like, we can harp on it. We can say, like, some of it is absolute shit, and we can say, like I can say, like, I am tired of the whole, like, I was a slave and the main character fell in love with me and rescued me. Like, I'm tired of that. I mean, that's the one thing that I will say about, like, Roll Over and Die, that I've only read the first volume so far. I understand it gets really gruesome as it goes on. But anyway, that's the one thing that I appreciated that was, like, girl picked her own self up and kicked her own bunches of ass to get herself ahead. I appreciate that. I'm into that. I want, like, I'm tired of the stuff that's really the same-ish that we have. So yeah, like, I think that's kind of, to me, like, that's kind of the thing, is like, just sticking with series that I like, going with a bunch of manga that is not like the light novels we have. Yes, Full Metal, actually, I have the first volume of Vanitas, and I absolutely am going to read it because Pandora Hearts is absolutely my favorite manga series. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I really, really, I really enjoyed that series a lot. So, but, yeah, I mean, and also, like, the thing with manga too, CL reads more manga than she ever did light novels. And so what she's doing with some of it is that she's going to, she's actually curating a lot of the the manga that I'm reading. So sometimes, what's been happening right now is I don't even know what I'm going to read next. I just say that I've done the review of the one that I've read, and then she's like, here, you can read this next. So yeah, I mean, it's fun for me because it keeps me on my toes, and CL does know me really well, so she always picks out stuff that she knows is either that I'm really gonna enjoy, or is gonna kind of pique my interests and stuff like that. So yeah, that's been fun to do. It was the same thing as like CL when she was buying some of those loot boxes that I had no idea what they were. Like, I like surprises. I really do. I like surprises like that. And it makes things fun, and like, I don't know how many of you watched my, the art on Leedale? Yes. Yeah, Terrence, the art on Leedale looks beautiful. And honestly, the first one wasn't too bad. But, whatever, it's all good. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, for light novels. I don't know how many of you watched the latest release video that I did for this month. And, kind of the thing that I like when somebody's picking stuff out for me is, and that I've not looked into, I don't feel disappointed one way or the other. Like, if I read it and I love it, it's awesome because it's like a hidden gem that somebody showed me. But if I don't like it, I'm not disappointed because it isn't something that I was like hyped up about beforehand. Like, the Haunted Bookstore, I am so hyped for that because I have just been thirsting for like a supernatural, spirited away kind of book. And the artwork on that thing and the description, I'm just like, oh, I so want this to be awesome. Like, and if it's not, I'm going to be so upset because I'm really was hoping it's going to be a series that I absolutely fall in love with. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, because I cover light novels so much here and I have to cover like the news when they're licensed, news when they're released and everything else, there are some titles I look forward to, but because I know that I'm looking forward to them, if they bum me out, I am just like, damn, I am sad, man. Whereas if I don't know what I'm about to read and I have no idea, yeah, it's all right. So, let's see, what else? What's all going? I'm just taking a look at the comments. I haven't been really reading them, sorry, but well. Oh, why did I change my name from my name in CL to just my name again? Well, I mean, that's kind of like a back and forth thing. Because I don't know how much CL wanted to be actively associated with the channel, whether she wanted to take more of a back support role. So I thought if that was what she wanted. I mean, if she wants her name back on the channel, I'm going to do it anytime. But, you know, I kind of had gotten the impression that she wanted to be more of like in the background, like my muse, my support, or, you know, the one who kicks my ass when I need it. And yeah, I need ass kicking quite often. Yeah, I'm kind of pathetic that way, but yeah. Anyway. Oh, Oni-chan sensei, I don't want to cry so much when I read books. Man, no, I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. Anyway, what else? Is there anything else that I should be taking a look here? I feel like I've missed a whole bunch of stuff in the chat, and I do apologize. That is not something I've gotten really all that too good about, being able to split my attention and read here and read there, and you know, yeah. Oh, Roman, yeah, more slice of life stuff. Japanese definitely seems to be more. I mean, even the top 10 they've been selling really well, so that's yeah. Lidl, Yona. Oh, Yona of the Dawn. Yeah, I've heard of that. What genres have not got more exploited in LN throughout the years? I mean, well, here's the thing. There's been, if you look in Japan, there's every genre of light novel. And I mean, you know, some of it are really well-written novels, you know, like really, really good stuff, and others are trashy, like trashy. And I mean, it runs the gamut, right? It's the whole back and forth. Anyway, but I think, like, this is the thing. So, I mean, in Japan, like, yeah, they're absolutely every genre is covered. And I would say every genre, every caliber of writer, it's all covered, you know, like we have a very narrow viewpoint, I think, of light novels in English so far. You know, and I think it's because, like, fantasy and isekai type stuff went so well for such a long time that, man, everybody went after that. Yeah, but yeah, anyway. Oh yeah, sure. Feel free to write down suggestions. CL will take a look at suggestions for any manga suggestions that you have. She'll decide whether she wants to take a look at it or not. Alicrast, CL, she is not one for the spotlight, that is true, but particularly she's not, you know, she's not a big weeby, like, I love light novels, I love manga, I love anime person. Quite the contrary, honestly. I mean, CL loves a good story. Like, and I think the problem is that so much of the light novel stuff sounds the same or has been very similar that she never got into that. And unfortunately, a lot of the light novels we have also have really trashy tropes, you know, like the harems, the over-sexualization of characters that really don't need to be. Even, like, we talked about Dungeon Busters, how the art is hyper-sexualized even though the book itself is not. It just turns somebody off, and I get that. Manga, she's had a lot more luck with, obviously, because manga, again, has such a broader aspect of stuff that's available. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's definitely, I'd say, more accessible. But yeah, overall, yeah, she's not interested in Spotlight, and she doesn't want to be an anime girl VTuber anymore and all that kind of stuff. So it's all good. You know, I can use the support role because I'm terrible at supporting myself. I have to admit, I really do poorly that way. Yes. In terms of like genres, I think I saw somebody said, what genres do you wish we got more of in English? Flame 808. Like pretty much what I said, right? Like I would really like, oh, well, thank you, Rahul. That's incredibly nice of you. Funding for next light novel purchase. I appreciate that. I really do. You know, I'm eyeing The Executioner and Her Way of Life Part 2, Volume 2, or I'm going to start reading Spellblades 2, so I'll need Spellblades 3 because it just got released. In terms of genres, like I said, like the Haunted Bookstore one, that is like totally my thing, man. Like I would love to see more light novels that are like that, kind of like supernatural ghost story type stuff. I dig that stuff. Like Ghost Hunt. It's called Ghost Hunt, right? I'm pretty sure I have that. The anime that came out a couple of years ago. CL and I sat down and watched that whole series, binged it. And I was like, and I'm like watching it, and it's a light novel series. And I was like, why don't we have this? Like, you know, or stuff like this. Like, I really dig that, like, kind of supernatural, like, I don't want to call it urban fantasy, because, I mean, young adult stuff has kind of twisted the whole urban fantasy thing a little bit, but I really think that, you know, we could do so much better. And I'm hoping that, you know, if anything, if this whole Kadokawa does anything, I'm hoping that they'll have more, they'll take a risk and put out a wider genre of book. If there's any benefit to this whatsoever, I'm hoping that's what it is. I'm hoping that, you know, but I'm just kind of afraid that, again, they're just going to go with what's most safe. You know, that's one thing that I know Seven Seas took a lot of shit for their edits to books. And, you know, some of that was just weird. Some of that I know was like an editing thing. They edited it like it was a English novel, which is, you know, when there's too much repetition, you slim it down. But the one thing that I'll say about Seven Seas is that they do license titles that are different, you know, like the Haunted Bookstore one. I can't remember what the hell the exact English title is now, but the one about the tunnel that takes years of your life, but will allow you to travel to what you most desire or whatever. They, you know, they've licensed all the I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, all of that author's books. I will give them credit that they are the one company I feel that really kind of takes more of a risk or licenses kind of outside titles. And I really want to see that. I would really like to see that happen. You know, but it'll take time. Like, I'm sure, I mean, I didn't read, like, manga. I was around. I was buying comics when manga first started coming out in English, but I primarily was still buying Western comics. But, like, I'm pretty sure if we go back to, like, the earliest manga series that were licensed, they were probably all, like, very similar too, right? They were probably all a very similar genre. They were all probably a very similar kind of vibe to them. And it took time. It took time for the audience to grow and mature, and it took time for the industry to realize that they could put out other books. I mean, let's take a look at shoujo light novels. I mean, J-Novel Club, Yen, Seven Seas, there wasn't a lot of shoujo, right? And then Cross Infinite World came out, this small little publisher, and everything they put out was like otome game, shoujo, and then all of a sudden we get J-Novel Heart. You know, it was almost like we just need these companies. We just need, like, whether it be like you know, like Tentai is really focusing on sort of the romantic comedy. So we're getting more rom-coms from them. I think as we see more rom-coms becoming more and more popular in Japan, and with companies like Tentai pushing it, I think we'll see more and more of that coming. I do think that, if we have these small companies like Cross Infinite World and stuff like that who push boundaries and license titles that are different, it will change over time. We are getting more stuff like Spy Classroom is coming out this month from Yen, which is a different sort of take. Obviously, it's more like a spies type thing. The detective is already dead. I mean, I've got to do my review of that. I read it. It wasn't the book I wanted it to be, but it's not an isekai or a fantasy, so I'll give it that. It's still a bit different than a lot of the other stuff we have. Like, yeah, we're seeing more of it, right? We're seeing more series that are a bit different. So hopefully that continues. Like, it'll probably take a couple more years before we really see it. And again, it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing with Kadokawa shakes out too, in terms of what kind of books they think are popular, what the quality of the translation is, and everything else. I mean, I'm kind of afraid that like their translation will read like shit and won't be very enjoyable because they'll slapdash it in the name of getting it out faster. Even though J-Novel Club has proven you can have great translations and get them out in a timely basis. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's kind of my thinking on the whole thing. We'll see how it goes. It's now after 11 o'clock. I said it was only going to be about an hour because I still got to put my dogs out and all that kind of stuff. So thank you. Like, I'm so glad that a bunch of you jumped in and, leaving comments and everything else. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I really do. I really appreciate it. So yeah, thank you all for joining. And again, I will be doing some more regular live streams. I'll try and get better at announcing them in advance so that you all know what's going on and when they're happening. I'll try and announce them at least a full day or two early, so it's not like you're sitting there going like, what's going on? Well, we'll see how it all goes. They used to do, oh yeah, I know, Aaron, they used to do original English covers, yeah, and they were horrible. So much of them were horrible, but anyway. Yeah, all right. So, thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it, and had a lot of fun, and I will see you all later. Until then, bye-bye for now.